come up with that percent?
Let me come to Caroline, because even though Kenyans may not have remembered the promises, Mzalendo Trust has been tracking those, and that's by status, and you're also looking at categories. So take us through that promises dashboard and what kind of informed it as well.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Thanks to my panelists. So yes, we did develop a promise tracker, and this was informed by two things. In 2019-2020, we undertook a research to review what the previous administration had promised Kenyans in their manifesto and how that had been implemented, especially in terms of legislative proposals. As you're aware, Mzalendo Trust, we keep an eye on Parliament, and we wanted to see whether the executive and the legislature were really speaking the same language. And what we realized was that, one, there was a disconnect, but most importantly, Kenyans were not very interested in what political parties promised during campaigns. So during the elections, we then came up with different tools that would enable Kenyans to know what was in these political manifestos. And subsequent to the elections then, we looked at the manifesto, the plan, but we also looked at the Gimiyo manifesto, the two of them, and said, look, Kenyans, whichever government comes into office, these are the promises that they have made for you. And so we came up with this tracker that only is based on the promises that were kept and the progress that has been made. And because for us the interest is also on Parliament, we were interested to then see what or how many of these promises are translating into the legislative proposal. And I could get into that a little bit later.
Certainly.
So in total, just looking at the promises in the plan, about 187 of them touching on different things. Right. Others, of course, have been made subsequent to the elections. You know, the president has been addressing either a rally or a meeting or a cabinet briefing, and they have come up with things they have promised they would do. And so we've kept populating those. Why did we do it? One of the things that people have talked about the last elections was that it's one of the few that has really been issue-based. And so we hope by keeping track of what has been promised and what's being done, Kenyans can begin to change the narrative and begin to look at promises and implementation as opposed to issues that are outside what has been promised.
So out of the 187, how many have been fulfilled so far?
So we went a step further, first 100 days, 1 year, short term and long term. So the idea is that at the end of the 5 years, we'll do an analysis.
Okay.
For the average, looking at what has started and what is continuing, it's about 43%.
43%.
Yeah. What's ongoing at 34%.
Okay.
What's completed at 9%.
And we'll dig deeper into what that 43% actually is in terms of the projects. But let's quickly cross over to the Shareholders Center, where